Hi there. December 2017 has seen the news of a key takeover in the global cinema industry. We'll look at that in a second and take a moment to think about how we measure market share in a key sector such as cinemas. So here's the news. The news has come through that there's been a horizontal integration in the cinema industry. Cineworld has bought Regal Cinemas to establish what is the second biggest cinema operator globally. It's a £2.7 billion deal worth current exchange rates around $3.5 billion. And this is certainly a sizable bet in terms of horizontal integration. It's especially given the increased competition for cinemas from online streaming businesses such as Amazon and Netflix. Cineworld taking over Regal will give the combined business nearly 10,000 screens, and it's going to make it the second biggest cinema chain in the world if you measure by screens, behind AMC Theatres, which is a US cinema company. Here's the data I wanted to share with you, the market share in the UK cinema sector. Now, there's various ways you can measure market share. One is by revenue, total value of tickets sold from year to year. And here's the data for the UK. You can see that 3 cinemas dominate the industry. Indeed, in 2016, if you look at the leading cinema exhibitor chains, just ranked purely by revenue, by turnover, Cineworld, Odeon and Vue, the big 3 chains, accounted for 70.1% of the exhibitor market combined. Now, 70.1% is what we call a 3-firm concentration ratio, a C3 ratio. Cineworld had the biggest market share, 25.4%. They have about 221 cinema cities across 9 European Union countries. And in the UK, Cineworld also runs the art house cinema chain Picture House. You see that's shown in the chart. They call that Picture House Cinemas. AMC, the American business, owns the Odeon chain in the UK. Odeon was actually acquired by the Chinese firm Dalian Wanda, $2.6 billion about 5 years ago. So what you have here is an oligopolistic market dominated by 3 key businesses. Another way you can express market share is not by revenue, but by the number of screens they operate. A slightly different metric, but again you get a similar picture here with Cineworld and Odeon Vue well ahead of the rest, including businesses such as Everyman Cinemas, there's one in my hometown of Harrogate, and the Light Cinema, Tutor uses those, for example, in Leeds. But again, the industry dominated by the 3 big businesses. That's why we call it an oligopoly. In terms of cinema ticket prices, the average price for tickets has been rising year on year. It's now up to nearly £7.50 for an average price. Keep in mind, of course, that cinemas are well versed, they're experts in using price discrimination as part of their business model. So they will charge different prices to different people for the same film based on time of screening, based on who it is that's seeing the film, based on perhaps a bit of product differentiation, the quality of the seat, so on and so forth. The average ticket price is £7.41 in 2016, but obviously the price that most people pay will either be higher than that or lower, depending on the pricing strategy being used by the cinema. I think what's interesting, just before we conclude, is what's happening to the age distribution of cinema goers in the UK. There's quite a significant trend here. So this colourful chart shows the age distribution among cinema goers in the UK from 2003 through to 2016, the percentage share of cinemas goers in each age category. And you can see that, for example, in 2016, just under 30% of cinema goers in the UK were aged between 15 and 24. But the share of cinema goers who are aged between 7 to 24, the bottom 2 big sections there, has fallen from around 50% in 2011, now heading down towards 40%. So the share of younger cinema visitors is going down. The share of older cinema goers is rising. In fact, in 2016, 12% of all tickets for cinemas were bought by people over the age of 55. That is evidence for the silver pound effect, I guess. And of course what's happened is that there's been a shift in consumer preferences, a shift in changing consumer behaviour towards digital film services. So this latest chart shows a ranking of the leading digital film industry businesses by usage in the UK in the month of May 2017. In other words, what service had you used in the previous 3 months up to May 2017. And way ahead is Netflix, ranked first. 50% reported having used the Netflix service in the 3 months previous, then YouTube, then Amazon and Sky Go and others. So the emergence of these big digital film service competitors is a significant competitive threat for the UK cinema sector. We have seen the rise of Netflix. Netflix, of course, has been investing hundreds of millions of dollars in content, licensed content, original content, high production values. They are adding millions of extra subscribers. In fact, they added over 5 million subscribers globally between the end of June 2017 and the end of September. So its user base, in terms of global subscriptions, both in the United States and now international, is over 110, almost 110 billion people. And note that the number of people who are subscribing internationally for Netflix is now greater than the US numbers. Well, this is clearly a major threat to the cinema sector, and of course cinemas aren't just going to sit back and do nothing. Many, including Cineworld and Odeon, are diversifying. They're not just showing screens of films, they're doing live screenings of theatre and the opera. They're opening up their cinemas to the conference sector, and many are choosing to have dedicated screens as arenas for people to watch the fast-growing esports market. Anything they can do to leverage their assets, to cover their fixed costs, to get more people in the cinema buying tickets and buying merchandise, food and drink, etc., is crucial to their long-term survival. So whilst the age profile of cinema goers is aging, here's a different chart showing the age profile of Netflix users in the UK from 2015 through to the second half of 2016. And you can see that the percentage of people aged 16 to 24 who are Netflix users is now above 55%. And indeed, even amongst older people aged above 55, the profile of Netflix users has jumped up from 6% to 13%. So there are some big changes in the film and digital film and cinema industries going on at the moment. The merger or the takeover between Cineworld and REGAL I suppose has to be seen in the wider context of some quite large-ranging, almost pivotal shifts in how people decide and choose to watch their films. Lots more economics, of course, on our website. Here's the link. Do take a look. Thanks for joining in on this short video.